court. Yes, Mr. Van Niekerk, welcome to Channel Yemaswati. I believe you're a free man. Now you can come and go out and in of the Kingdom of Eswatini. What's your take of this?
Well, Mr. Bamba, thanks for your time. I mean, obviously today's court decision to overturn that court order, basically confining me to Eswatini, is great news, all right? I think we've still got a way to go in terms of the initial accusations. Actually, the exponent team have been making accusations and throwing names and things around for a long time in Eswatini. And literally, we almost ignored this because it was so ludicrous that it was almost, it was unbelievable. But then when they pitched up in court last week, Monday, when I was in the country for an AGM, then the gloves were off, right? Because now they actually accused myself and a few other people that weren't even remotely involved of being behind the whole exponent scandal. So I think this has been great. I've got to give you credit and your news channel credit because, I was on the news last night and I basically showed the annual financials for Exponent, and I showed the related parties. And this morning, the applicants were in court and everybody backtracked because literally it's black and white. It's in the audited financials. It's clearly on record that I was never a director of Exponent. So somebody was looking for a scapegoat, and I was clearly it. And I think it's been great that the court has said, okay, this is now nonsense. This has been withdrawn. And now we've got to go down the road of, it doesn't end here, unfortunately. We've actually got to go down the road of going after the Exponent team to show that these accusations were ludicrous, scandalous. It's nothing short of defamation, and they cost time and money. The legal fees we've spent in the last 2 weeks, the time and energy with the media, with yourselves, with other businessmen in Eswatini, because you're publicly accused. Even in other countries, I've had phone calls from all over the world, people saying you've been accused of this terrible crime in Swaziland or Eswatini now. And I'm like, guys, it's absolutely ludicrous. So I'm very happy with today's outcome, but as you know, this is ongoing. We'll be back in court. We want the costs for this, and we want to prove that these statements are defamation and scandalous. And at the end of the day, I mean, I think that's what the news channels and the media out there need to also take cognizance of. Front page headlines have always been Dave Niekerk, previous Exponent director. And I've even got interdicts before against the newspaper saying, guys, I was never a director. There's the headlines, you're putting them up as you say. I was never an Exponent director. I can't understand how you can make that statement. And previously, we even got an interdict against one of the newspapers to stop them. And then they were one of the front people publishing again. And now they're in contempt of court for republishing that same nonsense. So I'm afraid they're going to be seeing their day in court as well. But again, I thank you and your news channel for being so open-minded to show what you did last night, because I believe that had a big impact on what happened today with the Exponent Eswatini people and the rest of the country just having their eyes opened as to what really was going on behind the scenes.
So now, how has this impacted your business concerns in the Kingdom of Eswatini and in the rest of the world?
No, thanks, Mr. Bamba. I mean, I think it's an important question, right? So as a well-known businessman, especially in the fintech space, I've done business globally, listed businesses in Germany. We've done a lot globally around fintech and about financial inclusion, and we still have a lot of business that we're doing. And my businesses are involved with banks, with financial institutions. And so this was fairly damaging. I had to do a lot of damage control, spend a lot of time with my business partners and my colleagues, and just to show that this was absolute nonsense. So even if you're falsely accused, you're still accused. And then the onus of proving your innocence actually falls on you. It's not a case of innocent until proven guilty. It's almost guilty until proven innocent. So I had to spend quite a bit of time and energy on fixing that. And as I said, the matter's not over yet. So it definitely has impacted us a bit, because people read these newspaper reports and then they believe what they read, because they think a good investigative journalist or a good publication would have done its homework. they wouldn't have put on the front page that Dave van Niekerk was the mastermind or an ex-exponent director if it wasn't true. But as we can tell, some bad journalism and some bad investigative journalism, and these things are front page headlines. And truthfully, if they had just contacted me for comment, I would have provided them with the relevant information and proof that they would have needed not to write those articles. So that's really, it was quite a process the last 2 weeks to fix that. And also to wake up on a Tuesday morning in South Africa and the newspaper headlines are, Dave van Niekerk wanted in Eswatini. You need to go back. You've broken a court order by leaving the country. And they had never served it on me. They had never served it on any of the respondents that they had attacked. And the first we knew about it was when we read about it in the newspaper. So it was very much a show and tell, and it was to play for the public opinion. It was a court of public opinion. And they were winning that fight up until this week when we decided enough was enough, took out the gloves. I mean, there was a stage I was going to take out a stream of billboards across Eswatini and publish all this information on billboards just to say, look, let's just be clear on what's going on here. But now I'm pleased to say that everything's been sort of put to bed in terms of the court order. And now, I mean, that being said, we're going to go after the team for making those accusations. And we are going to prove without a shadow of a doubt that we had no involvement. And we are going to show where the true onus lies. So, and I think that will also be comfort to the people that have lost money. I mean, it's actually apparently it's closer to 1,500 people that have lost money in the Exponent Eswatini debacle. And I think those people deserve justice.
It's next with Exponent Eswatini.
So that's a good question, because in my mind, already the South African regulators took away Exponent's financial services license in South Africa. So the FSCA, which is a South African regulator, took away their financial services license. The Zambian Financial Authority has debarred their main shareholder and director from being a director and a shareholder in financial institutions. And yet in Eswatini, they've still got permission to raise capital. So I think this is now a matter of time before the local regulator will be like, well, hold on, we were told there were other people to blame, and now they're going to take a closer look at allowing this firm to continue to operate. Because the quicker it gets wound up and the bleeding gets stopped and then the funds are gone after, the better it'll be for the investors.
For the 1,500 people who've lost funds in Exponent.
So, I mean, my advice is that this almost needs to be a class action. Everybody needs to band together and literally fight this matter in the courts. Take the matter to where it belongs, go to court, take on Exponent, insist that Exponent gets liquidated, or now ESW, and then recover what funds they can. But it needs to get brought. The longer you drag it out, especially when it comes to money, the longer you have for that money to disappear.
What's next for you now, Mr. van Niekerk, with regards to this matter?
Well, Mr. Mamba, I'm now a celebrity in Eswatini, thanks to the last 2 weeks debacle. I've been on every front page of every newspaper. I've been on your TV show. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to continue business as usual. I'm a fintech entrepreneur. I start businesses. I work with banks and financial institutions, and we're doing some very exciting things with one or two of the banks and one of the building societies. So I think there's some exciting things still to happen in the kingdom. And I still look forward to doing lots of business in the kingdom of Eswatini. And I have enormous respect for what this country has managed to achieve and for the people. And it's one of the best places to do business. And I intend to carry on doing business here and carry on working with the people that I consider friends and colleagues.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, and I believe that we will see you soon in the Kingdom of Eswatini so that you come personally to have an interview with us here at Channel Yemaswati.
Consider it done, Mr. Mamba. Thank you for your time.
That was Mr. van Niekerk. He's now a free man. He can now come into the Kingdom of Eswatini after an interdict was withdrawn in the High Court. Well, basically, we ran that story, and Councillor Mabuza did cover that story today. And yes, he's a free man right now, and we do expect to see him in the Kingdom of Swaziland as he continues to do business with us and everyone else in the Kingdom of Eswatini. My name is Mamba. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break, and when we return, we shall have Major V, I believe he's around here, so that he tells us more about what is happening with his life, and also that we saw him right next to, or maybe inside, a police station. Let's find out later. A message right now from the commercial department.